than array dot length. Otherwise, the last element would not be printed.
Correct. So if you are already giving -1, that means you have to give less than equals to.
Less than or equals.
Correct.
Yes.
Length will have the braces because length is a method. Correct.
But without braces, it works.
Okay. Array dot length is not a method. Okay. Fine if it works. Maybe I'm not sure. Anything else wrong on this? Anyone? Still too many things wrong. I can see.
Sir, there is a syntax error, sir.
Int I. It should be int.
We have to give data type
there is
into
there is
for the
comma,
variable.
sir. Amitabh, there is comma.
I got everyone's actually. Yes, I got everyone's. So Devika, you got what you have done.
Yeah,
So you
yeah, got it.
You have given
And we
comma,
have to use
those would be
semicolon.
semicolons.
Hmm.
And the I equals to 0 you have initialized, that should be
Int,
integer I, right?
Int is equal to
Nothing
0.
can directly come. You can initialize there only.
In
That's
a
enough.
for loop also we can mention.
Yes.
Like int I equals to 0 for basis int I equals to 0. That be enough. No, don't do this on the second line.
In third line only, Deepika.
Don't do in the
Inside
second
for
line.
loop, you can put int I is equals to 0, Deepika.
I can't. I mean, I didn't get it, Shravani. Can you repeat it again?
After for it will be in for line.
You have written I equals to 0,
Int I
right?
is equal to
Instead,
what
you
part?
write int I is equals to 0. Instead of I equals to 0, write int space I equals to 0. And you
Correct.
can remove line 2. Yeah.
So for loop had the advantage that we can initialize inside it, right? Like for loop had 3 conditions: initialization, condition, and incremental decremental. And still I would agree with Videsh that if you don't know how many elements are there, it's always better when you know it's a collection kind of a thing, go with for each loop rather than for. Okay.
Yep.
For each loop is actually something I told you guys, right? You don't need any initialization, you don't need any endpoint. It just goes inside and take the data one by one for you. That's it. So it's always better to use the for each loop. Okay, Devika. Okay,
Yeah.
you can stop sharing. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Shravani, can you share screen?
Yes, Samantha.
Open the notepad, not Eclipse. That's why I asked you guys to open the notepad, not Eclipse.
Okay.
Because Eclipse will give you the compilation error when you are typing something wrong. And mostly interviewers will ask you to write the code in the chat box. Okay. Not even in Eclipse, not even anywhere. Okay, can you open the notepad for me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Samantha.
Can you write the for each loop for the same, like any array which is ARR? I want to print out all the elements inside it.
Okay.
It's an integer array. Okay.
Okay, fine.
You don't have to initialize it. You don't know anything. Just write the for loop. That would be enough.
Okay. All right.
Again, what are the things wrong here?
We want to give executable, not.
I changed it. The
Yes,
screen is
yes.
corrected.
I asked a question and it got changed.
She has
Okay.
corrected.
Yeah. One more thing, Shravani. Can you initialize one array of integer which will have 5 elements? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what are the things wrong here, guys?
Int parenthesis.
Square bracket, we have to mention in the int.
Correct.
We can give it anyway,
I
Amitabh.
know,
Actually, this,
but
yeah.
I know, but always practice to give it the integer of array. The like even when we say the array of an integer named as ARR,
Okay.
because we want to
Yes.
put it like ARR as a array variable or array name itself. Okay.
Okay.
Try to follow the
Yeah.
same pattern.
Sure.
Like these are the illustrations which came with the mode of the Java updates, but like in
Alright.
basic Java you'll always have the same, or else you will get a compilation error.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, I've seen for multi-dimensional array we can give
You
in
like
this.
this?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was okay with everything, but from now I'll
Yeah.
get used to this.
Okay. Thank you, Savani.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start with the methods today. Cool. So
Amitabh,
yeah.
actually, when I was going through Java Tip Point, I have a clash with what you explained with an object.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I have to get a
Can
note
you
on
tell
it.
me? Yeah, can you tell me?
It is actually you said object is a blueprint of the class, but actually when
They are
we
saying
take the
class is a
exam,
blueprint of object.
Yes.
sorry, yes, class is the blueprint of the
Object.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine. Yeah, I just said the reverse. And Java Tip Point is
Yes,
the only
it
one correct.
was other way
And
around.
even if you say even if you see actually the class has all the details inside it, the object is only representing the class, right? So
Yes.
that means class is the blueprint which object is representative.
Exactly. Like the prototype of a building will be a class, and
Yes.
from that prototype we can make any number of buildings. That would be an object,
Yes,
right?
object, correct.
Okay, Amitabh, because I have to get clarified because in
No,
the
no,
interviews,
thank you
as you
for that.
said, yeah, no
Yes,
problem.
yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's start with the methods. So methods is an important topic because like whatever we have done till now, everything we are doing inside the method, but method has too many parts which we need to cover. Okay, so we discussed that packages would be area, classes would be our houses, methods would be our rooms, correct? Now these methods, if you guys remember that sequence, right? Area, house, room.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So any method, whatever we see, would be a room. So if anyone asks you that what is room is used for in your house, why rooms are there, what you will say?
For only particular people only can use. Rooms
What
will
are
be for a specific purpose, like kitchen for cooking, bedroom for sleeping, like that. Right.
correct? So one house may have a number of rooms serving different purposes, right? Like
Yes.
kitchen, bedroom, dining, drawing, study. So we may have different rooms like which will have different purpose. Now for any room, so every room has a name, correct? If anyone asks us, go to the bedroom, go to the kitchen, go to the drawing room. So every room has a name, correct? So like that for methods also, till now any method we are using, we are giving the name of main, correct? But it is independent. You can give any name to it. You can give sum, you can give sub, anything. If you remember, I was using sum, sub, anything. So whatever the rooms you create, you can give any name to it. It's depending on you only. Okay. Now it will how it is helping you. But when we are writing these methods, we are writing like this. Public. Okay, you guys are writing static also. Static void main. This is the main method, right? For us. So for this main method, we already know this curly braces defines what? What are these curly braces?
Keep inside.
Scope of the
Where
method.
we can write the scope of the method.
Yes, they are the scope of the method. Don't forget this. But we are still not that much aware what are the other things that we are talking about here. Fine. So these are the important things we need to discuss here. So for any method we are going to write in future, these things would be common. Okay, like I can write one more method which would be public static void sum, like this. This is a sum method. Then we have to know what is this public, what is this static, what is this void. Main and sum, we got it the idea already, right? This is a name, that is a method name. So the name is depending on the user, they can give any. But if you remember, I told you that the method name should be start with a small letter. Okay, don't go with the capital letter. Always the method name would be small letter. Just a minute, guys. Rest of the things, whatever we are seeing here, public static void. So what is static? Okay, I'll come to that later. Anyone have any idea what is public?
Anyone can
Access
use
specified.
Maybe any class,
Access
any
specified.
method can be used. Can use this.
Okay, that's the functionality you guys are talking about. But what is this?
Access modifier.
Correct.
We can access any values in the program.
So public, this thing is called access modifiers. So what do you mean by access modifiers?
Access anywhere.
Scope of
Anyone,
that
anyone.
method in the
We can restrict who all can access the method. Amitabh.
Okay, it has the
Can
functionality
modify the
restricting.
access.
Restricting the accessibility of the method. Now, why we use this? Why we need to restrict sometimes? Why we need to make it public sometimes? Why these access modifiers are needed?
Security purpose, I think.
Security, okay. Others?
Privacy also.
Okay. You can think of it like, I'll come to this later because this is a topic of OOPS concept. But in a one-liner, I can give you an example. Two examples. You have the master bedroom, right? So any guest comes inside your house, do you take them straightly to master bedroom? Any unknown person? No.
No.
Why? Because the important things or the almirah or some, it's the cleanest room in the house. So you don't want random people to go inside. The same thing when you go to an ATM, they just give you access to a screen and to a keyboard. Do they give access to their logic or the cash box inside it? No, right? User doesn't need to access everything. User just needs to access what the user asked for. Like an ATM, I want to just do the cash withdrawal. So for that, whatever is needed, that is accessible. For a guest to come in my house, he can sit in the drawing room, he can have some snacks, he can talk there and he can leave from there. I don't have to put him in the master bedroom to show where the almirah is, how the almirah opens and all. Getting my point, right? So it's something that from a user perspective, we restrict that user would be able to do only this much. In an ATM, user would be only able to touch the screens and give the pin to get the cash out. That's it. That much is only accessible. Correct. So using these access modifiers, whoever is writing the code, the user or the writer of the code, the coder, is restricting others to engage with the inside code. You are playing a game. You are playing road rash maybe. In childhood, everyone played maybe. So while you are playing, you only know you have to put the 4 arrows up, down, left and right. You don't have to know what is the code written inside it. You don't have to go in depth. The same thing, we are restricting user to only do what is permitted, not to, roam around and check the inside code. And you can't even do. So these are called, that's why the access modifiers are needed. What are the different access modifiers we have in Java? Anyone?
Public,
Private,
private,
protected.
protected, default.
Default.
Correct. Public, private, protected, and default. So how to compare this for? The best would be to search here. Go to the images. You can see here. We have different parameters. Right now, it would be a little bit hard for you guys to understand what is a subclass. Okay. But let's go ahead with the same class as of now. Okay. Same class. Same class means I have a class, I have a house, I have master bedroom, drawing, kitchen, and study, like that, different rooms. So if my room is default, so master bedroom, I can access everything. Master bedroom to kitchen to everything. Private means same class also accessible. Protected, same class accessible. Public, same class accessible. Why this is same class? They are saying everything accessible. It is not doing anything because I am the owner of the house, right? It's the same class. I am the house owner. Whatever the rooms I have inside it, I can access everything. Correct? Let them be private, let them be protected. That would be applicable for others. Getting my point?
Yes.
Same class means that inside the class A, I have 5 methods: kitchen, master, drawing, study, and child's room, children room. So all the 5, even with different access modifiers, default, private, protected, public, will that be OD to me? No, right? Because I am the owner. I have created the class. I am for that particular class. Anywhere I can access it. Okay. But from other side, other house in my neighborhood may not be accessible. How much they would be accessible, how much they will not, we'll see that. Okay. So one thing I want you guys to do. Okay, maybe I'll tell that later. Okay. So any doubts on this access modifiers? What you guys have to do? I'll tell this later. Any doubt on the access modifiers? Till now, any doubts? Anyone?
No.
Okay. Now the next question is access modifier mandatory to give?
May not be.
No, not mandatory.
If not given, default will be the default, I assume.
Think. Is access modifiers mandatory?
No, sir. Without main method, also use void main method. Without public, without access modifier.
So if we don't give any access, so you guys are saying not mandatory.
Yes, sir.
If you don't give anything, by default, it will take the default one, right? If I don't mention anything, like
Yes, Amitabh.
if I just write that static void sum, then by default, it has been considered as a default access
Default.
modifier, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
But still the default is there, right? Somehow access modifiers, if you don't mention, so when I am asking you that is it mandatory, then the reverse question should come. Is it mandatory you are asking about to mention or to consider? Not mandatory for mention, true. If you don't mention, there would be default. but there would be always consideration for the access modifiers. Because if you are seeing a class and there is no access modifier, you would be considering them as a default right here. So always access modifiers are present with a method. There's no way a method exists without an access modifier. Either it has to be default because nothing is there, or public private protected mentioned clearly there. Got my point?
Okay. Yeah.
Methods doesn't exist without the access modifiers. In real time, they don't exist. They can't work like that. It's not mandatory to mention because the default value would be the, like, by default it will go for the default. It sounds weird to say default and default again, but it's true. Like if you don't mention anything, it will go for the default. But there is access modifier, so that particular method will be working for the access levels as per the default rule, as much as default gives access.
Amitabh, like,
Yeah.
do we have keyword default? I mean, if we want to use a method in default mode, we can
You
ignore giving it, or else
yeah,
we can give a name.
you can ignore totally, or you can type also like default static void some. This is also possible. Okay.
Oh.
So you have a way that you may give default, and if you don't give anything, it would be going to default by default. Okay. Too many defaults in a single sentence. But got it? What I was saying. So the first part is access modifiers. So access modifiers is something which restricts the accessibility of the method to the same class or some other class, some other package. Okay. And there are 4 values to it: public, private, protected, default. They are not mandatory to mention. If not mentioned, they will go for the default value, but they will be always in consideration when like any method is getting called upon or any method is getting used. So this is the first part we have covered, that is the access modifiers. Now we have the second part, which is static. I think we talked about the static already. So what is static?
Static memory allocation.
It is a keyword.
It's a keyword, correct. How it helps?
It loads, if we mention static, it loads in the first itself. I mean, we
Yes.
can
Memory
access.
allocation, static memory allocation.
What are the other values to it? Either it would be static or nothing to mention. If you don't mention anything, it would be by default non-static. Correct? So is it mandatory to mention? Not really. If you don't mention, it will be non-static. Not mandatory to mention. By default, it will go for non-static if not mentioned. And if you mention it, then it will go for the static. I don't think static I have to like go very much in depth right now. Now we have the void. So what is a void? What is the plain general English meaning of void?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing is there like that.
Nothing. Correct. It's blank, basically, right? So the void here for this method is called return type. Return type. Now you will tell me what is a return. What any room has to return to me. Correct. So how can I explain this? Okay. The kitchen will return food to you. Okay. The master bedroom will give you the relaxation. The drawing room will give you the entertainment. The study room will give you the concentration to study or to do your work. So every room has its own functionality and it gives something something returned to you. That's why you are using it, right? So for any method, there would be different return types. Return types are basically nothing but data types. Okay. Like what are the data types we have? Int, anything, whatever you have. Okay. Byte, short, long, boolean, double, float, char, string, even array, anything it may return. So return types are basically a method returning a particular data type. So how it would be used? So it gets paired with a return statement. Okay, return is also a keyword. It gets paired with that. How it gets paired? So if I show you public static void, let's go for integer. Okay, let's go for int. Then I'm giving a sum method. Then I'm saying int I equals to 10. Int x equals to 20. Now in general, what we do? We do a system.out.println, correct?
Yes.
Println, and we say that I plus x, whatever is there, print it out. So this would be printing out. So if it was void, so this would be my code. Public static void sum, I have two variables inside it, I want to print it out. So anytime I call this method, it would be just giving me a value in the console, right? Correct? It would be giving me a value in the console that was you have 30. But okay, let's go to Eclipse. I want to make it easier for you guys. 1 second. Or else it will be hard to understand after something. I'm doing in the array class only. Okay. Excuse me for that. So I have created a sum method. You can see here. Okay. I'm creating one more method. Public static int. Okay, let me copy the whole thing. Why am I? As I said, when there is any return type but void, okay, if you are giving any particular data type in the return, then you have to give the pair statement of return. What it's going to return? Okay, let's go for this one. Return. I want to return x minus I. Okay. Now, what is the difference between these two? Both are static method, correct? Okay, let me put them on the top. Control X. I'm deleting this arrays is a class. I have two methods inside it. One is sum method. One is sub method. Okay. And I want to call them in the main method now to get the output, right? So they are static method. I can call them with the class name only. Arrays dot. You can see sum and sub is coming. You remember this thing, right? The static methods can be called upon with the class name dot. The methods will appear because both are static. Remember? Yes, no.
Yes, something.
Yes, Samtak.
Okay.
Yes, something.
So if I call the sum now, what would be the output? 30. I get it. Now, sorry. For this one, I want to call the sub now. What would be the output?
10.
No, nothing is there. Why there would be an output? There is no CISO, right? If there is no CISO, how it is going to print out in the console? Correct?
Yes, yes.
Correct. But then what is the use of this return? The return is something, this return value is getting stored somewhere. Okay, it's getting stored, which we can use for further references. How? I am using array.sub. I know this will return something x minus I, which is a value of 10. Correct? I can give CISO on top of it and say, boss, you print it out. Now it will print out the value of 10. See, because it was returning, this was saving, the return statement was saving the value 10, but there was no C, so that's why it was not printing. Now it can print out. What else I can do? I can play with it. Integer v equals to array dot sub, this one, cross 10. Now CISO v. So what is the calculation will happen here? Arrays dot sub means 10, right? 10 cross 10, 100. So v should print 100. You are getting me how I'm using this method just to get the value of 10? And no hard coded, right? Whatever the value this sub will refer, it will just always come and replace here. Nothing hard coded. I am not putting 10 cross 10 to get the 100. I'm saying go to this method, check what it has to return. It's returning me 10. On top of it, do a multiplication of 10 and then give me the result. That's the difference between these two. So when I have a return statement, it has something to return which I can use again and again. So, and you have seen this. Where you have seen this? 1 second, guys. I have a stand up. I forgot again. Running 2 minutes. 2 minutes. So as I was saying, the return statement helps you to get the data from this method and use it for the further calls. Okay. I'll continue tomorrow from here only. Don't worry. But practice the access modifiers and the static things. Okay. I don't know if you guys practice then the static, non-static methods too. You have to create the object. Static methods you can call upon with the class name. Practice these things. Okay.
Okay.
We'll connect tomorrow. We'll continue with the return type and then we'll go to the method signature and all.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you guys.
Okay. Thank you.
China, if you had any doubts, we'll connect tomorrow. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting a call from a manager.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, uncle.